I got everything off from the engine, everything from the firewall off, and took the engine off, and I took the engine off at the firewall mounts. I'm going to leave the engine mount on the engine so I can mount it on an engine stand. I'm making an adapter for the engine stand. It's just an automotive engine stand. We got it at a garage sale a few years ago, so we'll have to make something to fit it. It's not designed for aircraft engines. Well, we've got the chain fall there. When I built the hangar, I put in a triple 2x8 up there for a beam, and then put cables around it every 1.5 feet or so, and use that for a hoist. It's I wouldn't hoist a cat from it, but it's okay for this engine and for the airplane, a few other small things. So anyway, we got the engine off here, and I took some 3/4 inch box tubing and cut it, and I just had I think it was 11.6 inches of this stuff, and I cut it into I don't know what that figured out to be, 3.9 inches I believe each piece, and then I ground them all down so they were the same. Put a little round over on this one end down here because this engine mount comes out square like this, so if you got something square going into it, it's just going to come out square. So I just rounded it over a little bit on the one edge so that it could come in, fit in there like that. So we've got those 4 blocks there. So now I've got, this is 3/4 inch box, steel box, and I've got some 1 inch that I'll weld onto that now to make braces on it, and then see what I can cobble together to fit that engine stand. So well, I got engine mount made. I got those little stub ends that I cut earlier, and then I welded on these 1 inch box tube onto those. And I've got them bolted into the engine mount now, so they're solid tight in there, but they fit in there pretty good. So the top and the bottom one here. And there's the engine stand that I want to try to use, and even at this, with it tipped up top side like this, there's not enough room between these brackets when they're fully extended to attach into these brackets that I've got on the engine mount. So I've got to come up with some kind of an adapter there. Now, somewhere along the line we've lost one of these adapters here, one of these brackets, so I'll try to make do with what we got. I got to figure something out. I don't want to drop that thing down too low, because I don't want to take the muffler off of it and get it down too low. It'll be dragging on the ground. Well, that's my engine mount. Engine mount. These are some of the 2-inch box tube from the old high school bleachers. This is the same stuff that I used on my rotisserie, and I took a piece of that, cut it into a couple of 20-inch long chunks, and drilled a couple of holes in it and bolted it onto this engine mount, engine stand mount, and then I welded it onto those brackets that I'd made earlier. So hopefully, if my welds are anything more than just gobbed on welding rod, that'll hold. It's not exactly like it's gonna hold through aerobatics or anything. It's just on there to hold it for a stand while other work's being done on the airplane. And I suppose we could do work on the engine here too. Be a heck of a lot easier getting in there and out of there, in there, to work on things with it there than it is when it's mounted to the airplane. So especially the back side of it there. So hopefully that'll work. I'll lower that down now and put that pipe in the socket over there in that stand, and we'll see how it works. The weight is off the chain fall and all on the engine mount, so I'm going to let it sit there like that. I've got enough, like I said, the weight's off the chain fall, but there's enough slack there, or enough there to catch it in case something happens. So I'm going to leave it sit there like that overnight to make sure none of my welds come apart or none of that material twists or anything like that. It did settle down just a little bit once the weight come off of it, but that's to be expected. Otherwise it looks pretty okay. Well, the engine sat there on the engine stand all night, all day, didn't move any. I wiggled it around a little bit, and the only thing that's wiggling on it is the stand itself from where the engine mounts onto it to the stand, and so it looks like it's gonna hold up okay. So I'm gonna disconnect it from the chain fall there and move it out of there and get it out from front of the airplane so we can start taking some more of the stuff off of that firewall there.